Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusha here, and now, before I do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Izuku. After Izuku killed the wyvern, he discovered he had a marking on his chest. Now, this was very intriguing to him. However, at first, it was very alarming. Now, Deku, he has a large scar that runs across his torso. Large slash marks that do show where the dragon struck him and nearly took him out. However, thanks to Izuku winning his battle and this wound healing, it has changed to a dark color. Originally, Deku thought he might have been poisoned or possibly even cursed by the dragon. However, people called a dragon slayer marking, and this Izuku is quite intrigued about. Now, after that happened, Izuku, he went to go try and find any information he could in the castle's library. And whenever he sat down to read them, there was Sir Theodore, who came around and decided to tell Izuku about a tradition for warriors. Whenever they have an achievement of great importance, a milestone in their journey to become who they are, they will braid ornaments and or things into their hair. And Sir Theodore, he took a metal piece and braided it into Izuku's hair. It does wrap around and will stay put in place. And Izuku, he will keep this braid. It is a milestone for him. He even told his teacher about how he slayed the beast. And the man, he was quite proud of his apprentice at the moment. Now then, with that being said, Izuku, he took a lot of time. He spent a full day reading about these markings to see if there was anything he didn't know, to see if there was something that he could learn from this, or what other significance it might have. However, of the tales he has read, many of them, they go on to express how these markings are seen as royal. They're seen as important. Those who carry them, they do great things, have done great things. And it is often associated with many other things. A changing of age, a changing of the time around them. If people that powerful exist, there is a reason these markings have a significance when worn by someone that powerful. They can change the world for the better or for the worse. And that Izuku, he has come to learn. On the next morning, whenever Deku does get awake, he does not sit there. Right now, him, with a lot still going through his head, bringing his hand up and somewhat grabbing the metal piece in his hair, before also running his hand through the braid, since it does still kind of hurt a bit. However, he should get used to it soon. That's what Theodore said. Though there's a lot of things going through his mind, laying back and trying to focus on all of it. The carriage wasn't all that good. I mean, he's grateful that they gave him one, but he could have asked the king for one, right? Anything to help him on his journey. They took horses and that was easier. But that does kind of make him think. It wasn't like a car. Cars have certain things put in place, like wheels made of rubber suspension, something to absorb the impact of the road. I mean, they don't have paved roads. It's hard dirt trails and stone. You kind of do feel the ride. And it isn't smooth at all. It does make him think. There's a lot of things here they have yet to invent. If he does talk to somebody, see what he could do, maybe he could try to improve it? It is an idea, but who would he even go to for that? Does rubber even exist in this world? I mean, a lot of things exist. But rubber comes from trees? It comes from a lot of places, but hmm, maybe he could try to make something like that? Deku's eye's gonna glow, and he does gonna look through his crafting tree. Right now, trying to see what he can make and what he can't. And a lot of this stuff is still simple. Then again, it does save him time. Okay, is there anything he can do? No, no. Okay, recipes. No. All this is locked. Okay, so he has to figure it out. All this stuff is things that he knows. Though, hmm, okay. Maybe he'll have to go talk to somebody. Or try and craft something to improve this freaking skill. Great. That sounds like something. So he might have to spend the day grinding for a skill? No, that might not be good. This is his mind. And there is a knock at his door. Someone going to try and tell Izuku about how breakfast this morning is ready. Them going to begin to open the door and express, seeing Izuku laying there, going to sit up, telling him that they've prepared many things. However, they are aware that he does have the meat of the beast, the wyvern. They could store it somewhere, if it is fine with him. They do have a powerful room downstairs, and a crystal that should keep everything cool, if he is alright with that. And Izuku, he does his own sit up, turning and looking at that. Uh, no, it's fine. The poison's powerful. It also prevents the meat from rotting. Though we have to neutralize it. It's got a lot of salt in it. Oh, I see. So it is safe? Uh, yes, it is. But who made the room? I'm curious. How does it work? Oh, um, it has a magical circuit. Magical what? Magical circuit. There is a place where things are connected. People walk through the castle, they stay here. They pour magic into this place, and, well, as far as I'm aware, certain things just work. Magical circuit. This sounds like you're telling me it's powering the room, powering the crystal. Okay, I think I see what you're talking about. Deku quite intrigued, and the person, they can tell that. Before they do so, they do go to someone shyly ask him if it is like something from his world. He's looking quite puzzled. No, I'm fine. It just reminds me of something. I'm thinking about a lot of things I'm looking to improve. Not just upon my skill, but with my stay here so far. I'm not sure. It might be nothing, but I just was curious about it. I'm supposed to be taking these last couple days off, and Sir Theodore kind of got on me for that. Though, never mind. I'm sorry to bother you with all this. No, it's quite fine. It's quite fine. The one bring your hands up, quite surprised about how long this conversation's been. Since whenever she first thought of a hero, she didn't think of someone like him. She was expecting someone different. Someone who could slay the demon lord. But in front of her, he's being polite, curious, inquisitive, all these things. This room is a little scattered and dirty, but there's a lot of books lying around. That she is well aware of. Izuku jumping up whenever she has to remind him again about breakfast, him going to leave before the person they just won't take a breath out, before looking around the room and going to begin organizing the books, grabbing one that does sit on the desk since it is partially open. Right now, them looking down and seeing an old tale about a man, one who went off to war and faced many beasts, but he came back alive. It's a recent tale. It's an old one. Her mother told her of it before, and it doesn't bring a smile to her face. Izuku heading down to get something to eat. And whenever he does arrive, he does find quite a few people. Right now, some of them sitting there. As Deku, he does talk with some of the people here. Right now, Oliver among them, along with Rosa, along with a few other people who are practitioners of magic and knights who do roam the castle. Some of them talking about a few things and going back and forth. But whenever Deku walked into the room, attention got turned to him. He sat down and began to grab some bread, some of the meat and cheese that was there, along with even grabbing a ladle of some stew, trying to talk about it. Currently sitting back down and biting into a loaf of bread. Asked them if they're going to be doing any training this morning. Deku turning. Before he does, go someone sip the broth of the stew. Right now, beginning to chew the bread and get a feel for what he's eating this morning. Before Oliver does get a turn, talking about how Sir Theodore told them to be careful with him. He's eager, is what the man said. I know, but that's about it. Right? Eager, yeah. Though he said a few other things. I'm not saying anything, Zuko, but he's quite adamant about this. Said he was going to put you through the training of a lifetime. You've gotten powerful. I know, it's just what happened. I trained, I got better, and I'm not sure. This guy's the hero? Hey, come on, Marcus. He slayed a freaking wyvern. Can you say the same thing? No, but he's a little odd, ain't he? I guess a little bit. Though, I was thinking about some improvements to the wagon. You were? Oliver turning back. Before Rosa does get a turn, telling Izuku about how one of the chests they recovered from the cave is still there. They found it when they unloaded the rest of the wyvern, and its body was stored this morning. Really? Yes. They took many things. They're holding it in storage for you. Much of the meat has also been prepared for you as well. It's being held downstairs. Think I can get a slice? The man expressing. One leaning forwards about how he's got hundreds of pounds. And Deku's a turn, telling him about how he can take some, but it is poisonous. So they will need to nullify it? On second thought, how about no? You're missing out, man. It's really good. Rosa expressing about how it was quite savory. Her having a smile pop across her face before Izuku does talk about it. Eating his breakfast and going over a few things. Even asking questions about what he might need to know. Especially about these markings of his. And Some of the tales he's hearing is still some of the stuff he did read, but one of the stories just has an extra detail. Since Deku, he didn't know about it, and there is about 30 minutes later, he does get a head out, making his way down to the wagon and going to see it outside of the stables. Right now, it having somebody taking care of a few things nearby. And when they do to see Deku, they do to walk over, talking about a few things they saw. Deku turning to them as they do someone drag out the chest from their area, expressing to him about what they were doing. Since this thing over here, motioning to it, was covered in some dragon blood, and they took a little bit more care trying to get it clean. Oh, thank you. Did you open it? Hmm? It's locked. I don't think I could open it if I wanted to. Though, a pretty good kick might do it. You sure? Yeah. Then again, a chest like this, it's a little old, so maybe I could break it open. Though, you might need a pretty good sword. Deku would bring his hand down. Pulling his up as the person does tell him. Yeah, just try and find the gap between the lid. Whenever he was cleaning, there was one right there. Izuku jamming the tip of his blade into the gap. Before he does, gonna have the blade slide a bit more forwards, and he's gonna pop the top of this thing open. Right now, it going to make a loud noise before Deku's to look down, seeing some of the stuff inside. And someone does come running up. Them turning the corner and seeing Izuku, who currently is bend down and bring his hands down to this chest. Since one thing that drew his gaze immediately was a book. And this is where Pyra does come running up, her expressing to him about how he opened the chest already. Deku looking at a few things. There's a cloak, pulling it away, as things that fall out and land onto the ground. Pyra looking down for bring her hands up, her gonna let out a small scream before she has a bend down, grabbing something as Deku does watch a horn fall out of the cloak, turning his head and looking at that. This thing is interesting. It feels soft. It's Deku leaning in, and it smells clean, like it was never worn. It's not covered in dust, and it's in good condition. Deku turning, setting it down before grabbing the horn. And Pyra does a pick something up, telling Izuku about how he needs to be a bit more careful. If this went off, then it could have been bad. Deku turning, before she's gonna hold up some small little ornament. This ball. It has an end on it. But there's also a fuse. Deku wouldn't jump back, as she does get to tell him that could have been dangerous. That's a bomb. A grenade? Yes, Izuku, it's a grenade. Her turning, and Deku does turn his eyes back to the book, looking around this chest, before his hands do get drawn to a broken broom, bringing it up and seeing it. It's a bit odd, but he's not going to question it. Before he's a turn, grabbing this book and going to sit down. Before he does open it up, and it does let out a small bit of ice. Deku feeling a cool breeze come off of it. And that's a little interesting. Deku flipping to a page. Before he does go to open it up and begin to see a bunch of intricate drawings. Things that remind him of the dragon's spell, the thing that was in its mouth, the thing that came out. This is this is incredible. Flipping a page. Before we begin to talk about the different incantations for certain abilities, and about how powerful some of them could be. And Deku does a flip through to midway through the page, and it does going to talk about a few things. Even a spell to make it snow, and that Izuku does stare at. Though he does gotta look at the mana requirements for this spell, along with the Jesus, that's incredible. But these runes, all of this, he doesn't know any of this stuff. Flipping back to the forward of the page, first I talk about a simple spell, and then as I talk about trying to cast said spell. That catching his mind. Deku going to stand before he has to turn back to the chest. Before Pyra does hold something up, talking about it, she's seen one of these. Him turning and seeing a strange looking glove. Her talking about it. Walking over and handing it to him. Expressing with his hand up. About, so if she's right, it's almost like an archery glove. Deku going to somewhat flinch. Before he has to turn his head away, and she does go to stuff the glove onto his hand. Her going to run her fingers along his, telling him, as he has to keep it on. It pulled up past his left wrist, where he does look down and see some small device on his wrist. Her telling him, okay, it's a little weird, but does he feel the thing with his finger? Uh, yeah, I do actually. What is this? It's a magical wand. Or I guess something different. Wizards like to mess with each other sometimes. And, well, carrying around a staff, that's what it was called, isn't easy sometimes. If it breaks, then it might limit spell casting. This was something someone invented. Especially considering the fact that a strong gust could just knocked the well, she's having a bit of trouble right now. What is it? Her turning away before telling Izuku. She's dealing with a few problems. Uh, they can talk, not right now, but possibly later. Her turning before going to run off. And Deku does look down at this glove, still staring at it, before he does go to bring his hand up and then go to throw his finger out. And it does just shoot out and up directly to his finger. Izuku's staring at this, and it does get a move. Deku beginning to close his hand. As this thing, it does go to retract in over Deku. He does go to move his fingers around. Him staring at that. It's a wand glove. That's so weird. Wizards not using wands. That's a bit odd. Though, on a battlefield, it kind of makes sense. Turning back, beginning to investigate everything else here. There's a small green pellet. There's these strange belts, but that's really about it. Turning. Going to look around more. Before pulling everything out and going to see a regular book. One that does not sit there. Before he has to pick it up and as soon as a fall out of it. Him going to turn. Looking down and seeing a monocle. Before he's going to pick it up. Feeling a bit interested in a lot of this stuff. I mean, he won't wear it yet, but he'll probably keep it with Yeah, yeah, he'll keep it with the wagon and maybe go over more of it later. For right now, the grimoire, he should take it to Rosa. She'll know what it is, how to better use it, manage it. Is Sir Theodore here? Yeah, no. If Theodore's here, talk to him. Get back on training early and try and learn some of these spells. But these, this is talking about advanced stuff. I mean, he does have the wristband, but that's about it. Taking off the glove, setting it down on his chest, and going to bend down, picking it up and sliding it back onto the wagon. Before he does a turn, taking the grimoire and going to leave quickly. Before he does, try to seek out Rosa, his first magical teacher, since this does seem to be quite important. Now, whenever Deku does go to find Rosa after running through the castle for a bit, he does go to ask her about this book. And when she says see it, she is quite alarmed, since that shouldn't be anywhere near him yet. And Deku, he does go to have her grab the book and go to open it. This is incredible. Where did you find this? It was from the Wyvern Cave. It was in the chest in the carriage. I'm surprised. I looked through it really quick, but a lot of that stuff, it's incredible. There's a spell to make it snow. Is there? Her opening it. Before I should have flipped through some of the pages, and her face, it does get a little concerning. This is incredible magic. It's detailed as well. Her reading the inscriptions. Before she look up at Deku and telling him, perhaps right now he should shelve this item. It floating up in the air and towards him. Before he does gonna grab it and talk about it. Seriously? But this could help him. Especially when he's training. She said that wizards have a spell book. So, wouldn't it make sense for him to use one? Be more like a combat mage? Something like that? Izuku, this is. I don't know if you're trained or not in the art of that magic. I have ice magic. That is not what I mean. The incantations in the art. Has Sir Theodore mentioned anything about you using magic in its natural state? Um, no, I don't think he has. What do you mean? Well, he's going to teach you at some point. Magic is interesting. You used a magic before, correct? One that was non-elemental? Um, I have. Yeah, why? Well, let me ask. What was this magic? Um, my inventory skill? Yes, that one. But there was another one as well. It made you more durable. Your body stronger? Oh, that one, yeah. But I thought I just gained those abilities. I had the option to get them. Though I did have to do a few things for them. Izuku, it was non-elemental, is my point. You're trying to use magic that doesn't derive from an element. It takes more time to learn. And certain classifications of those spells require different forms of mana, and different magic channeled differently. That is what I'm telling you. Right now, you have yet to learn from Theodore, and I will not be one to make light of his teaching, even if I have been your teacher before. I can tell you this: magic in its raw element is powerful. You can use it for many things. It can be helpful, cause devastation, or it can be used for peace. Magic is not evil, Zuko. They are just evil men who use magic. And I have seen tale of evil women using magic as well, for their own purposes. Right, okay, but couldn't I learn one of these spells? I mean, the first couple pages are incredible. You could, but I don't know if it would be best for you to focus on an element. Not at the moment. There's still much you need to learn. Fine, fine. So, I'm sorry. I need to just go out and think. This is Anika's mind. I'm gonna leave. As she does, goes somewhat, stop holding her breath, quite alarmed about this finding. I mean, he found one of those. Okay, so she gave enough away for him not to be annoyed or push, but Theodore's definitely going to be intrigued about this as well. Ah, okay. Well, if she was teaching him magic, that would obviously be the next step, right? Or is she wrong? She hopes that she is not wrong. Deku going to sit down and go to somewhat meditate, try and clear his mind and focus. Understand what some of this stuff might be, what some of it might mean. And since the fact that his understanding of one form of magic has changed. I mean, fireball, stuff like that, slashing attacks like that, he thought those were simple, yeah, but he didn't know magic could get so complex. And there is Sir Theodore, who, when he does come rolling around, he has to see Deku. Right now, someone's going to sit there and meditate before he does go to sit down with him in the courtyard. Deku going to smell the tea as his own turn, looking up before he has to see Sir Theodore. Uh, hello. Hi, sorry. I was clearing your mind. Something troubling you. Going to pour a second cup of tea before he's set it down, expressing. So he heard some interesting things today, and he decided to come to find him. They're a little busy, so they still have some more time before training to pick back up. Something on his mind? Uh, I found a grimoire. I see. Did you read it? I did. And I don't know if I can learn that. You will. You will. The man's not bringing his hand up. Before he does go to blow on his tea, and Deku does see his breath. Before he does go to sip it, and allow the ice he just put on top to melt into his tea. Before he's to tell Izuku about certain forms of magic, and about one class of magic he planned to teach him when training does resume. Magic in its raw form. Elemental magic, it is what humans and other species were built for, along with many other forms they were taught. Built for? Yes, Izuku, built for. Every race was built for the purpose. That's just what the creators did for us. The gods? No, Izuku, no. Not the gods. The man looking up, telling Deku, "Before that happened, creatures came. They don't know the name of the species, but many refer to them by other names. The Creators is one, and the Walkers of Plains are another. Their race came here from another plane of existence. They were powerful creatures. Some say they even crafted the ground they walked on. They're not sure of which they were, be it God or Elder." "What?" "Izuku, there are dark forces at play." The man looking down, telling him with a more serious tone, "These are the enemies they may face. The Demon Lord called upon dark gods. These elder gods may very well be the same gods who gave power to this race of people. Their names are lost, but the creators set out to do what they did. They created things. They created living creatures, Izuku. We don't know how. We don't know when. It's believed that necromancy is some imitation art, but it is corrupted. Necromancy. It's a vile art." "Yes, it is, Izuku. But it was believed that our current gods, Ritus included, helped many of us. He gave us the gift of magic, and we retaliated. It was said long ago that a warrior rose and drove them from the land. Its name lost to history, but afterwards, we spread. Many races did. And we rebuilt. Even today, ties are strong, and we have to remind ourselves, often, about these ties. Many species were almost annihilated, and they are thriving today. In fact, I believe the oldest elf would have been a child at that time, let alone been alive to see it. Witnessed many things in his life. I'd say he could live another 1,000 years, or another century. Depends on how much life he's got left in him, Izuku. That's really about it." The man looking at Deku, his face showing barely contained concern. Before he was to ask if there's a problem. "Yes. As I did say, we have to remind ourselves quite often about this. And that is apparent soon. King Solomon believes that your attendance will be required for an event that will be held here soon. I don't like it. But our attendance would show quite good things. We are not at war currently, for one. Number two, that you are here and you are on our side, willing to help us fight. And number three, it would help the royal court assess you a bit more." "How?" "Izuku, not all battles are using swords. The most annoying sometimes are in a ballroom, dealing with nobility. Solomon is worried about it as well, but I know I can't stop it. But since that's going to be happening, the man just won't sit there. Before Deku could see his magical aura begin to flare up, it coated in a blue glow, telling Izuku about how he does want him to focus. He's taught him much about trying to harness magic. He's done it before. In fact, draw upon his magical well, the well that is deep within his soul, and pull from it. He wants him to grab that magic and hold it. Izuku going to set his tea down before he has to close his eyes. Before he does, going to begin channeling magic. Channeling ice magic as well, as he does open his eyes, them giving off a blue shine. And the man does tell him this is quite different from his skill, the one he was given. The blessing has not activated. That's good. Right now, he wants to see if Izuku can hold that. Really? This feels odd. Now, take away the elemental side. Deku watching the man's aura begin to somewhat shift and change. But where does it change to a different color? His turning into a white aura. Before he just don't float there. Before he's to bring his hand up and tell him. Right now, a magical glyph going to somewhat be formed, with runes and circles, similar to the dragon. Deku's staring at that, before he should try and focus. The man telling Izuku that this is advanced magic, and this is what he will soon be taught. He would have preferred him to learn from his teacher. However, their timetable is changing. Sometime soon, they will have to deal with this event. In fact, sooner than he would like to believe. They're extending their stay here. Past a week. Really? Yes, Izuku. Well then, we can focus on this meditation for the rest of the day. Tomorrow is back to training. Then again, speaking of words, we should get you properly fitted for training. The man does not turn, pulling 2 bracelets out and telling him he wants him to put this on, one on each of his wrists. Then he will get 2 for his ankles. What are those? Wait, Izuku. If we're going to train you, it's proper to train you well. Now, you will only take these off the day of the event. The king needs you to look proper, prim, clean, and not like you ran a training regiment. Alright? That's good. I should be able to get my armor soon, then. Yes, good. The man going to toss these to the ground and turn, standing as he is at Izuku, to be ready tomorrow morning, since they will be a bit harsher than out in the woods. And as it is a turn, staring at the weights on the ground as his eyes do go a little wide, seeing how they landed. And he does not bend down, still thinking about this magical practice. The man's gonna just leave him here to figure it out. Though, that's how he's gonna do this. He knows he's inquisitive, wants to learn, wants to know. He's hungry for knowledge. Right. Learning in advance from a magic that could do him good. Though raw mana. What opens you up to different skills. This is cool. Deku's smiling. Before he does go to bring his hands down to grab the weights. Since right now, he does want to get back to meditation, but not to break his teacher's orders. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.